versus drone. Good.
Drone's games are always interesting. He always does his best to try and show off some cool games. Just on my stream, I'm going to throw up the overlay which just shows what the maps are going to be today, just in case people don't know, and to introduce them as well. We do have La Mancha as the first map, Flight Dreamliner as the second map, Icarus as the third map, Neo Aztec as the fourth, and New Empire of the Sun as the fifth map. That will be if it does go to a final best of, well, it will be a best of 5 in the finals, so there will be no banning or anything in that case. Looks like the game is finally up. Another thing to note, I'm not sure if Sale's got it up on his stream at the moment, but there is, Matcherino have been kind enough to donate me $25 worth of codes for the tournament. So if you go onto the Matcherino page, which should be being spammed by my Nightbot, and I believe Sale has put up his MooBot as well to do it, basically you put in the code and you can donate $1 for free. That's up to a maximum of 25 overall, but they said the amount can change each week, so it could go up or down, but they said because we've had 10 events already, it should actually be pretty decent.
Nice. I actually completely forgot. I know I forgot something. Wait, have you just added this source to all of your scenes?
I've basically added it to any of my scenes that have room.
Alright. Something up here. Oh snap, the game's starting. Alright, I'll let you do the positions and I can add this to my game scene.
Okay, just while I need to sort my overlay out as well, but I can wait. In the top right, or the bottom right corner even, we do have your red Protoss liquid drone. And down here in the 8 o'clock position, we do have the yellow Zerg CDS Lapota. And now I just need to quickly fill in my overlay. It started quicker than I thought it would do. So luckily enough, we've got everything up on the screen, so it's all good. We'll figure it all out.
Oh yeah. Alright, oh this actually slides like quite nicely just above my little unit card thing. I don't know if that's too small though, it's a little bit small. Let me see if we can make it slightly bigger. Wait. Oh, it's even half transparent on the top side, which is great. Alright, hopefully that's acceptable to people and it's not blocking stuff. So yeah, let's go to Matcherino and do the thing. Actually, oh, I probably need the Matcherino link. Did we just have a gas trick from Lapota?
We did. Gas trick from him, that was just happened to be on my screen there. Luckily enough, well, it looks like Drone is going to go for a gateway first as well. Now, one thing to note is Drone plays a lot of these maps because he enjoys playing them, so... And, I mean, you said in the thread that this is probably the most standard map pool I've actually had so far, so... I guess it should be a little bit easier for people this week. Maybe they won't be as confused by some of the maps.
Dude, there's I don't think there's any crazy map features here. It's all pretty normal maps. The craziest map is Dreamliner, which as far as Clash Royale maps go is actually completely fine, I would say. So yeah, good stuff. Anyway, we got a gateway expand here from Drone, who is playing a PvZ, of course, doing his race picking thing. And Lapota meanwhile is triggering me by going gas trick without going for 9 pool.
Just to double check, can you remember what maps they banned? Because I've forgotten. I know they banned Eye of the Storm, but do you remember the other one?
I have no idea.
Okay, I'll wait to set up my overlay, it's fine. We can have an overlay or overlayless first game. It should be easy enough to sort of figure out what's going on. And maybe if I just add it anyway. I don't think they banned Flight Dreamliner, so I'll just work on that basis and go from there.
Seems reasonable. Oh wait, I need to, oh my god, I need to keep my overlay. I'm like so out of it today for some reason.
Yeah, so am I. I thought, once again, I thought I'd have everything ready, and then I just didn't. Well, It got to about 5 and I was absolutely nowhere near ready. We do see some Lings out from Lapota. They're going to try and poke in the front, but a good wall by Drone is going to stop this from really being able to do too much. Although the Lings are getting by. Color me surprised. I was wrong.
Hey, we did it. Lings running in, although one more gonna get sniped off, so 3 Lings are gonna be in the base, but meanwhile the Zealot in the Zerg's main has actually got 2 kills already, presumably both Zergling kills. Looks like another 2 Zealots now going out. He's just gonna completely ignore the ones in his main base, just gonna use the probe to deal with it. That's absolutely fine. 3 slow Lings is not the end of the world, unless they're Jadong Lings.
Yeah, and it's when they get speed that they really become a problem. And I think he's a little way off of speed yet. He is adding his 3rd hatchery at this this 3rd base here, the natural 3rd base, so maybe looking to be a little bit more aggressive, not going for the more conventional, I'd say, 2nd natural. This is a 4-player map, of course, if people haven't seen it before. So there are 4 mirrored spawns.
Indeed. And looks like nice snipe on this probe inside the Zerg's main base. The 2 Zealots going to try and do some fancy bond of micro, but he is in fact going to get taken down. But that's a lot of Lings made here by Lapota. Could potentially prompt him to just go for a Ling all-in off the back of this. We'll have to see. No, he is actually making drones now though, but he's still got something like 8 Zerglings in the base. I don't think drone should actually keep flooding in Zealots like this now that his initial Zealot attack has fallen, and obviously the Overlord at the front is seeing any Zealots that come out, so I really think this is just throwing away Zealots now. Although he does get 1 drone actually, so nice control there.
He does. He's also keeping the Lings away from his base as well. I think that was a bit unfortunate there. 1 hit away from killing the drone, but the mining drone actually glitched out the Zealot itself for some reason. So the Nexus is going up. That should be going up pretty much unhindered. Looks like drone will try and set up a wall again with his probe. No, he's actually going to send that to mine, or to scout even. He's just really long distance mining.
The epic distance mine. Oh, wait. Oh no, I thought the Lings were coming to do some kind of run by. They're actually running back to take down that probe. But yeah, it's a pretty nice wall here on drone side, so he wouldn't really have to worry about anything anyway. And we'll just see the game go on as probe guy sees this this side 3rd base. I'm trying to remember, is there anything about this map that'd be particularly interesting for PvZ? I mean, there's like ridges in the middle, but I don't think they're near enough to really matter that much.
I guess
that kind of thing, so.
The main thing is there's the ridges, or there's the little bridges leaving out the 3rd base and just above the natural. So really, a Zerg could possibly get a really hard lurk and contain up, but it is going to be very difficult on this map. There's even a fairly large sort of choke outside of your natural, which is quite unusual actually. Usually you have like a bridge or something, but pretty big outside of the wall, so that may come into it, but I don't think it will do too much.
Definitely makes sense to me. Lapota though is doing a very curious build. He's gone for a super fast double evolution chamber with no lair yet. So he's gotten a sunken colony at his natural and his 3rd. He's got 4 hatches and double evos. I'm really not sure what this is, to be honest. Is maybe some kind of like fast 1/1 Ling all in, or fast, I don't even know. It's not fast anymore. He's got 4 hatcheries. I don't know what it could be.
Kind of strange. I mean, I guess he could be setting himself up for the super late game really quickly. I mean, kind of doing a more Terran style opening for Zerg. I mean, if you think about it, you can actually just turtle up with lots of Sunkens and Sunkens and Spores. So we saw that yesterday, I believe it was in the, I think that was the Zotac Cup. We saw that where the Zerg just turtled up on the 4 bases forever, and there was absolutely nothing the Protoss player could do. So I mean, if you're going to do that, why not just get the double evolution chambers and just go for those upgrades super quickly? But 2 Zealots actually getting 2 of the drones in the main. Another drone does go down. Doing a lot of damage here. 4 drones, 5 drones. Finally, before the Zealots got taken down, that was a very worthy trade.
That is actually horrible for Lapota. I really wish I could see what upgrades he's getting in these. Presumably it's carapace and either melee attack or range attack, whichever one that is. That would actually tell us a lot about what build he's doing. But unfortunately in the live game we do not have that information. Meanwhile, Drone's build is looking a lot more standard here. Getting his Stargate, getting his going up to his Templar Archives, getting 2 additional gateways. This is all very, very normal. Now that Zealot attack scouted inside the main, which normally would be very useful, but considering this is a completely wonky build, I'm fairly certain Drone probably doesn't really understand what's going on either, because I don't know, maybe this is some kind of weird build I've never heard of, and the chat's gonna yell at me and tell me I'm dumb, but I don't know, man. This doesn't seem very good to me.
Yeah, it looks like Drone is playing a little bit more standard. He's actually got a building. Oh, it's actually a pylon. I was going to say behind the unit tab. I can't click to find out what it is. The Templar Archives is up in the right side of his natural, and it looks like he will be adding another pylon there as well. So, not doing too much damage with his Corsairs. He is now up to a count of 3. Is he adding more? No, he's not, but he is getting, I believe that'll be +1 air weapons, but you never know, we could be surprised. We could see some very early Dragoon range again.
The Lancer X move. I mean, he's not... Oh no, okay, the target is blinking now, so I'm pretty sure this is not Dragoon range, and it is for those +1 stairs. I think that Lancer X didn't deal open was super bizarre, and in the end, obviously, it didn't work at all for him. But anyway, we do see the Hydra Mount now, the Hydra Den for Lapota. He's got a bit of a Sim City going on here. Hasn't added another hatchery at the 3rd base yet. Just playing a super defensive style here. You can see Drone's actually got random probes just checking stuff out. He's potentially going to expand to the 3 o'clock base as well. And these 4 colonies are going to push the Corsairs away for now. Oh no, okay, so melee attack is actually done. He's got a 1-1 finish now on the Zergling. So now we see what the upgrades are. 1 attack finished for Drone, but of course the super fast +1 carapace on the Zerglings does negate that, so the Zerglings will be okay against these Zealots actually.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting though, because all of the static defense is actually at the top of the hatchery rather than the bottom, so the Zealots had to run all the way around, taking more damage, but here we go, all of the Overlords are down. Luckily for Lapota, he did manage to snipe that DT before it killed all of his drones, so pretty lucky there. Looks like Drone is going to try and take his 3rd base, but this is going to be very hard to hold when you have this many 1-1 lings out on the field with speed.
Wow, I can't believe this. This build is actually legit. He actually just completely smashed Drone's first attack. I mean, I don't think Drone should have committed there, to be honest, but still, that must have been really surprising at how quickly those lings made short work of his Zealots. Meanwhile, he has obviously forced to cancel on the 3rd base. That 3rd base was very optimistic by Drone anyway. It's effectively like a hidden base. He wasn't really devoting any units to actually defending it. Meanwhile, I think this +1 range should be done shortly here. It's been spinning for quite a while, and he is going up to 5 Corsairs, even though he lost 1 to the Spore Colony earlier. Meanwhile, Drone potentially going to take the 12 o'clock as a real hidden expansion.
Yeah, so this is pretty cool. He has had that probe up there a very long time. Looks like we do have the Lings trying to chase around the Corsairs, see what they're doing. There's actually a count of 5 already. So these Corsairs should be able to make short work of these Overlords, even with the Hydralisk there and the Spore underneath. So it looks like he will be going into the main, trying to scan around it just a little bit first of all.
Oh man, that's a big cloud of Overlords. There's only 3 Hydras and 1 Spore Colony. It looks like he might just commit everything to killing all these Overlords. The Corsair's taking a good amount of damage, but it looks like the Overlords are all going to die. Look at how supply blocked that is going to leave Zerg player Lapota. I think he cost Drone 3 Corsairs, but he must have killed like 6 Overlords or something.
Yeah, that was a lot of Overlords, and there's actually another Overlord at the 3rd. That he may be able to go and snipe, but there is 2 Spore Colonies there. But this is the time when Drone knows he can move out. He's sending out all of his army. He has High Templar here as well. And Lapota cannot build units to actually defend this.
Also, crucially, the +2 attack finishes for these Zealots, so they are back to 2-shotting the Zerglings. The +1 carapace is no longer doing anything for Lapota. And he's pulling back. Now, he does have Sunken Lurkers for defense, though, and this is a primarily, or basically entirely Zealot composition. A couple of High Templars, no Dragoons with the army, no Observer. Okay, the first Observer is coming in now, but it doesn't matter if you have an Observer. If you're an entirely melee force against Lurkers, you are going to have a bad time. Now, having said that, there's only a couple of Lurkers at each base, it seems, so he might just try and brute force it. No, he's not going to.
Yeah, no, that would be a very big mistake. There is a small choke leading into that 3rd, and those Zealots would be ground up like mincemeat.
guaranteed they would. So he's just going to walk around in the middle and keep map control. This is actually interesting. So you know, you might think that this Zealot Templar force is actually vulnerable to getting Muta sniped and having the Templars all picked off. But actually, by seeing such an early investment in Lurker, like defensive play, usually you can kind of guess like, okay, well, if he spends all his gas on Lurkers, it's unlikely that he has the gas to make Mutas. Now, having said that, I just had to look at the bank here for Lapota. He actually does have, or he had, like 900 gas bank, so he could have potentially even made those Mutalisks. But the Mutalisks are pretty expensive and a pretty big investment.
Yeah, it looks like he's more interested at the moment trying to get those lings into that now 4th base. He does not know. Actually, it doesn't look like Drone actually added the Nexus at the 12 o'clock.
Oh, Lurker drop! Lurker drop at the natural kicks. He's getting so many kills, 12 kills on this Lurker, and it looks like there's another drop in the main base as well. Yes, there's the one Lurker in the main base, the double Lurker drop from Lapota. This is an insanely good move by him. This could actually turn the game around, because it definitely looked like he was losing the game there. This 12 kill Lurker, how many more kills are there going to be in the main base? It looks like 4 kills. The pros are actually just barely in the range of this
and there's
Lurker
another double Lurker drop in the main as well. All the probes are actually stacked up on the gateway, but it doesn't look like Lapota's going to use his Lurkers properly to kill them. So they do go down. I think there may have been a little bit of counter pressure with the Zealots, but they did get cleaned up fairly quickly. Looks like there's another big drop coming into the main no sail.
Oh man, this is such a painful situation for Drone. He's still not mining at his natural. He has been able to transfer units over to the 3rd base at least. Actually, one of his observers is over there as well. Finally sending an observer back to the main base to deal with these Lurkers and potentially kill off these Overlords as well. In the meantime, the two lanes heading over to the 3 o'clock. Obviously, they won't be able to do anything. Cannons coming up in the mineral line just to make sure that this doesn't happen again. But a great move there by Lapota as he also gets his 4th base at the top left.
Yeah, it's also kind of crazy to me that you can have a Protoss that's going 4+1 Corsairs and still they get dropped. He had like 5 Corsairs at the point the drop came in, and he just didn't, he missed it completely, unfortunately for Drone.
Indeed, he did. But Drone,
we see a counterattack.
He's still got a 50 supply lead though.
He does this. Okay, now Lapota can actually attack his own hatchery here to kill the DT, but does he realize it's there? There's a big engagement with Zerglings and Zealots, some nice storms.
Oh man, that High Templar, with its dying breath of defiance, taking down some Zerglings with him. Looks like the DT gonna abandon ship, head over to the top side. A few more Overlords coming out. I thought there was Scourge, but actually I don't think he has a Spire yet. So he can't, he's just building a Spire now, so he can't even Scourge the observers. If Drone actually knew this, he could potentially try some dropship play of his own. Sorry, shuttle play of his own, do some storm drops, but he at least is going to deny this 4th base. It means it will be 3 base to 3 base, but Drone hasn't put probes back on his natural, so actually he's only mining off 2 base, and another drop's going in, Kicks.
It is. The Corsairs are completely on it. They're not. They're actually in the main. But I don't think they'll be able to kill it quick enough. The Lurker does drop. How much damage are you going to be able to do? It looks like Drone hasn't realized, sending his, not turning his rallied units away. And unfortunate there for Drone. He can't even actually deal with that. He has to use a Storm. Not the best use of that, but the only way he could have realistically cleared it. But there's another huge drop coming in still. Another 6 Overlords straight into his main.
That's actually really nice too, to bait out the Storm just for 1 Lurker. The High Templar still has 1 Storm remaining, but that means that the secondary drop, which gets a lot more units, won't have a Storm to deal with it. But now we have more units coming back. Corsair's also doing a pretty good job of taking down all these Overlords, and look at this, actually, it's not going to help the Zerg player at all here. This drop doing effectively no damage. He'll be lucky if he just gets the single gateway here, possibly the pylon, but not really what you want after that investment and after using
the Corsairs, so the Scourge are out. They're all crashing down into the Corsairs. 2 remain. The good micro by Drone does keep them alive. And it looks like Lapota is going to go back to his original style of just moving lings everywhere he possibly can. But then going to find it very tough to do anything at this 3rd base where Drone is now making Reavers.
Man, Lapota is double expanding though. Top left natural and the 6 o'clock expanding towards the Protoss. This is actually a very dangerous base to take, but Drone is not going to be aware of this. He's actually still not even, okay, finally cleaning up these 2 Lurkers at his base, but since the Corsairs are kind of staying in the main base, they're not flying around checking stuff out, he's actually not going to know about this. Now, Drone does have a pretty massive supply list. Looks like, meanwhile, there was some kind of Zergling attack at the 3 o'clock that gets cleaned up pretty easily there. But yeah, Lapota still has some ground to cover here if he wants to come back in the game. But he does have defilers, though. He does have hive tech, and that is kind of what you need. You know, these sneaky Ling defiler plays, you know, sniping nexuses, those kinds of shenanigans. There's another drop
going in as well. I think the 6 o'clock base is actually a clever decision. He's dropping in the main constantly, and this gives him a quicker reinforcement path for the drops. So that could be his reason behind that. Looks like there's a big army of drone going up to the top left, and it looks like a Reaver in the main has actually cleaned up the Ling drop entirely. That Reaver now with 12 kills. But once again, the drop's just not working out for Lapota anymore.
Yep,
or Lapota, sorry. Wow, there's even a drop going up the 12 o'clock as well. Just sending drops everywhere right now.
It's a pretty cool style to play, but I feel like, you know what? I feel like if Lapota had simply taken the top left natural as a third, his entire game plan would make far more sense. You know, going for the fast double evolution chambers, going for the mass drop play, because at the moment his problem is he can't take a 4th base. Yes, his original 3 bases are super secure, but that's not enough to keep pace with the Protoss. But if he'd taken the top left natural and then expanded, nice play on the Protoss army and swarms. He's actually going to take out this force, but basically if he had taken this base first and then gotten the top left main for free, then I think going for the fast upgrades and the hive and the mass drop play would be really, really good. But as it is, he actually cleans up the first army from Drone.
Yeah, and his upgrades are now at 3-3, only 19 minutes into the game, which doesn't seem that late, but 4 Zerg upgrades, that's incredibly early, and he's even going for a Greater Spire in his main. How is he going to use this? There is a lot of dead space above that 3rd base for Drone, and it looks like these Lings should be able to take out the top right natural.
Oh man, indeed they are. And now I'm actually slightly concerned for Drone, because Drone went from having
like a
Reaver's
going to go down to a single Crackling. It's not got any Scarabs.
Oh man, rip Reaver. Wait, did that Crackling take 3 cannon shots to kill? Is that from Carapace?
I guess it was. It's kind of funny though how it ran in on that one Reaver. The Reaver just didn't have a chance, and Ultralisks are now out on the field with 3-3 upgrades. They will go up to, I think it's 5-3 in the end as soon as the Ultralisk upgrades are finished. And this is going to make them super efficient against the Protoss forces, which are at 3-2-1 upgrades.
We have Guardians morphing behind the natural as well, Kicks, and I actually had no idea that this was the case, but if you think about it, a cannon does 20 damage, down to 17 against 3 Carapace Zergling, which means 2 cannon shots does 34 damage, and a Zergling has 35 HP, so it actually, having plus 3 Carapace upgrades a Zergling to taking 3 cannon shots to kill, which further supports the notion that Cracklings are OP, but here we go, Ultra Ling and Muta crashing into this top right base here. Drone, I think, has a pretty solid chance of, in fact, losing this game. I can't believe this is happening, actually. I wasn't even sure who Lapota was, and I was very confused by his initial build, but it looks like with those mega fast upgrades, he is seriously putting the hurt onto Drone here. Holy moly.
He is indeed. The Corsairs are actually cleaning up this Guardian, though. Both of them have now gone down, only killing 1 Zealot between them. And the Ultralisks are all incredibly low on health. Now, one crazy thing is just how quick Drone is getting his upgrades as well. He is very much an advocate of getting a very quick double forge, but he's even getting shield upgrades. Drone just loves his upgrades, man. Doesn't matter what race he's playing, there'll always be upgrades.
Problem for Drone now, though, is he's actually even on supply.
He's killing his own pylon in his natural as well, which is powering his forge and gateway.
Yep. Well, I mean, wait, were you in that game in TL Open where there was a Zergling attacking the hatchery and it almost killed the hatchery? Like
yes, I believe that was the one that Discord died on.
Oh yes, that's right. And the pylon actually falls. Both cannons, the forge and the gateway at the front, are unpowered now. Drone making some uncharacteristic errors. He has dropped a Reaver. He's got 3 Archons. and some support units at the top right base. But the thing is, he actually saw this 6 o'clock base, and he hasn't been able to do anything about it. I thought for sure the 6 o'clock was a bad idea, but actually now Lapota is setting up his Sunken Lurker Spore Defense here, and he's also got the top left main, so Lapota's economy has shot through the roof. He went from being stuck on 3 base to suddenly having almost 6 bases, whereas Drone is struggling to get a 4th.
Yeah, the crazy thing is Lapata's actually built a Guardian in the 12 o'clock as well to try and siege down this Nexus, but little does he know, there's Corsairs on the way. One of these Corsairs actually has 10 kills right now. Some crazy usage of the Corsairs by our Protoss player here, Drone. Looks like Lapota is going to try and take this top left base, but Drone can slowly claw his way back in. The Protoss army is a lot more efficient late game.
Oh, but we got a big attack at the top right. Ultraling are running in. Archons are in the front. The Reaver really needs to get in on this action. The Reaver is the key to stopping the Ultraling force in the late game, especially with Dark Swarm on the field. But that is just way too many Ultraling here. We have a shuttle coming in. He's going to need some kind of miracle unit to drop out here, or maybe just rescue that one Reaver. No, a second Reaver dropping onto the high ground, but I think he's definitely going to lose his next. So much Ultraling coming in here. Drone rescuing the Reaver, but very soon he's only going to be mining off that 3 o'clock base. His natural, is getting pretty thin. He even doesn't have very many drones there. For some reason, he's got like a billion drones on the gas, I guess from the earlier Lurker harass here. And he's going to lose another Reaver, I think, at the top right base. Not paying attention, but we have a counterattack. We have a drop at the 6 o'clock. Reaver drop, double Reaver drop at the 6 o'clock.
Cool, but it does get cleaned up. The really good use of the Lurkers and the Sunken Colony. The pylon was actually rebuilt as natural, so he does have some cannons to try and defend against the Lings, but Cracklings are just so powerful.
Yep. Drone is just in such serious trouble, and GG from Drone. What the heck?
Yeah, very unfortunate game for Drone there, but Lapota just pulled him apart with drops, just dropping everywhere constantly for about 10 minutes. And then eventually, Drone just got caught out of position far too much.
Man, I am so surprised by that result. Like, in the beginning, I completely underestimated Lapota. I had no idea who he was. The opening build was slightly strange. I was like, this guy doesn't really know what he's doing. He's getting double Evas. He's going Turtle Zerg when he didn't close third. It's kind of dubious. And then he starts making plays. He starts making the drop play. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's pretty good. The multi-drop play. And then he starts, he finally gets his 4th. He starts taking stuff down with Cracklings. I'm like, oh, all right, I'm feeling this. And then suddenly Drone loses the game. And now I'm just shocked. I'm like, who the heck is this guy?
Yeah, he did a pretty good job there. Most certainly coming out of nowhere for me. I've not actually heard of his name before, but he seems to be quite a strong Zerg player. Ah, wait, they must have actually... I guess I'll host this one.
Good.
Apparently, I've somehow... Oh, there we go. I actually lost the ability to type in Brood War for some reason, so...
Did you type something? I don't see it.
There we go.
Okay.
What it was I tried to bring up a full screen projector of my overlay just so I could see if the Maturino thing linked up with my other part of the overlay, like it fit in, and I put it on the wrong monitor and I think it was showing on top of my actual game screen.
Alright, Murs says CDS Lapota is not unknown, he's pretty much as old school as Drone. Oh, okay, so he's like a legit dude. Ah.
Oh, he's a Czech player as well. That's pretty cool.
Probably one of the best Czech players. Legit. Alright, now I know another person I need to seed in TL Open if he plays.
Yep, and someone I need to seed if he plays again in the Clash Royale. Oh, just to point out, guys, it looks like a few people have used the donation code, so thank you very much. But Gabriel Verlaine, once again, with the $100 donation, pretty much bankrolling my tournaments for me. Thank you very much once again. So there is now a $106 prize pool. Now, if you do want to contribute with a code, there should be an overlay up on Salestream and mine. And if you put in the code there on Maturino, you will donate $1 to the prize pool. for free, nothing required on your end, so please do enter that. You've got another few hours to do that. It'll stop working as of the end of the tournament, so make sure you jump in on that. And that's going to lead us on to the second game, which will be between the Protoss player down here in the 6 o'clock position, Liquid Drone.
And the Blue Zerg player at the left position will be CDS Lapota. And I actually just quickly searched for his ID on Wikipedia since everyone kept saying he's old school. And I do actually see him in the brackets for WCG, the Czech Republic WCG, for a couple of years. So yeah, definitely old school Gosu.
That is
now
very
on the radar.
Cool. Yep, and it's good that we now know about him, because when we're doing the seeding for the tournaments and things, always useful to know who everyone is. Don't want to misseed anyone and knock anyone out too early in tournaments based on weird seeding.
Yep. I was actually also wondering last game, like, I wonder if Drone maybe is slightly out of practice on his PvZ, because as far as I remember, for the most part in tournaments, he ends up facing non-Zerg players and playing his Zerg, so either ZVT or ZVP. So perhaps it's just it's also a case of his PvZ being slightly rusty, although he definitely was ahead in that game. Like, there was a point in the game where it was 3 base to 3 base, and Drone was 40 supply ahead, and he still lost the game. In large part thanks to that double drop with Lurkers. So
yeah,
we'll see how this goes.
The drop there was certainly one of the biggest factors in that game, losing quite a lot of his probes. And he spent so long trying to take that third base as well, it delayed him, I think, a little bit too much. But it seems weird because you say that, but whenever I seem to be casting Drone, he is always playing PvZ. Like, his opponents in the first round of at least the past 4 Clash of Chars, I think, have all been Zerg players.
Seems good. And... oh, hidden drone here from Lapota at the natural.
Yeah, pretty cool. Looks like it will move in, take that hatchery. I believe that would have been an overpull. Looks like we've got the Forge Fast expand coming up this time for Drone instead of the Gateway expand, realizing that last time he didn't really get too much value out of it. And this is a very good map for Forge Fast expanding. The wall is very, very tight here, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, he did some damage with the Gateway expand, but I wasn't, you know, blown away or anything by the micro. And this should be fine. Now, you say the wall is tight, but the left of the Gateway isn't tight with that cliff, right? There's a pretty big gap there. I guess on the right side, the Gateway fits quite snugly into there. It's quite interesting to me how far forward the Forge is. Oh, are we going to see a cannon rush, though?
Oh man, we actually see the pylon. It's trying to block off the drones from getting behind. He's going to have to glitch a drone behind that. No, he's not. It's actually not linked tight. Oh, how unfortunate for Drone. Losing the probe, losing the pylons, and he's just going to go and put down the Nexus.
What the heck was Drone thinking right there? That you can't cannon rush against a pool first build. That doesn't even make sense. Like, that's actually one of the reasons why Zerg's overpool now instead of 12 hatching against Protoss is exactly so that they don't get cannon rushed. I don't know, dude, I thought his probe went in and saw the pool. Did it actually not go all the way into the main or something?
It
like,
most certainly went in. I think he definitely saw the pool because he went in before the hatchery even went down, so he was already in the main base at that point. It looks like we do see the third hatchery coming up at the 10 o'clock position, and Drone will scout that straight away. This is going to be important for him.
Yep, pretty nice scout there. Again on the close third. Speaking of which, this little formation right here at the third base kind of reminds me of Magrathea. So I guess Magrathea now is basically like Python, Fortress, and Icarus combined into one pretty decent map, actually, to be honest. It's not a bad map.
It's also very similar to Neo Aztec as well, which we will see a little bit later on, if the games get to it, of course. You do have those weird little jutty out thirds, which have a very small ramp and a bridge in front of them to defend them, so pretty good for Zerg in defense in both CVT and CVP.
Yep, seems pretty good. Meanwhile, probe guy, is he going to take a second sunken shot? No, wait, I thought this probe took a sunken shot, but he actually didn't take any damage, so I guess the sunken shot missed. He's going to see the 4 hatchery before lair here again, but I don't see the double evolution chamber that Lapota was doing last game. I'm not sure.
There it
What
is. That's the first
Hey,
one.
double Evo again. All right. So he's again going Turtle Zerg style, where he's going to use Sunken Lurker Spore Defense, get super fast melee carapace upgrades, and rush for that hive. And once again, I would have preferred if he had gone for like the 12 o'clock natural to give himself a much freer fourth base, but I guess this is the way he likes to do it.
Yeah, I guess this way you don't have to really spread yourself too thin early on. If you do take the other natural, you're obviously a lot more spread out, especially on this map as well. Like, if people haven't seen this map before, I'm just going to zoom out for the middle of the map. You have this very weird sort of cross formation that creates the middle, and you have these small bridges on all four sides. No, wait, there's 3 of them. No, it is 4. I can count. It's like a, I guess it's more of a rhombus shape, and it does mean there's a lot of chokes that you have to go through, which zealots can really abuse.
Yes, indeed. Especially since they are on the close spawns rather than cross spawns, you know, the pathing will take you through those bridges rather than through the middle of the map. But I guess we'll see how much of a difference that makes. I mean, once you get to 3/3 cracklings in the hive level, supported by Dark Swarm and Plague and all that good stuff, then even with a choke point, I'm not really confident in the power of the Zealots. Meanwhile, the Corsair is coming out here to check things out. Of course, Spore Colony already in place to defend. We did see last game, Drone went for a big exchange of like 3 Corsairs for 6 or 7 Overlords in the mid game. But wow, taking so much damage on this Corsair.
Yeah, I often wonder in the last game as well if it was the fact he lost so many Overlords that made him really want to go for a big drop. Because it did mean he actually had to overbuild Overlords just to make sure he wasn't supply blocked anymore. But gave him a little bit of a surplus that he did use to drop, so whether or not that would have been part of his plan, it's going to be a little bit harder to drop on this map, purely based on the positions really. To go through to actually drop the main, he would need to either go through the middle of the map, which is incredibly dangerous, or actually go over the 3rd base, so I can't imagine we'll see too many drops this game from the Zerg player.
But we are going to see them from Protoss because we're seeing Ser Reaver kicks. He's got the support bay, he's got the Robo waiting at the front of the natural, he's got the first shuttle, and this could be very
Corsair,
good.
though.
There's what?
He lost the Corsair to a Spore Colony, unfortunately. That first one that he took a lot of damage on earlier on was actually picked off at the 3rd base, so pretty unfortunate for Drone.
But the small locations, I think, favor this, though, right? Oh, the Zergling sees it! The Zergling actually sees the Robo. I'm not sure if he saw the shuttle, but seeing the Robo this early should be enough to tell Lapota what's going on here. But I think this is actually a really good idea for Drone, because, you know, if the Zerg player is relying on his static defenses to hold his bases, then the weak point is in the natural. You can see he's immediately building a Sunken Colony in the main base. He already has a Spore Colony there, but the Sunken Colony is not finished. And here we go. The shuttle coming in here with the Reaver, gonna just take down these buildings. If he actually position, I think he can actually position these Scarabs in a way that he can kill both of these structures. But looks like he's just gonna take down the Sunken straight away. The shuttle needs to come back and rescue from the Zerglings.
Wow, that Reaver actually shot the second it was picked up, so those Zerglings do go down.
Oh,
wow,
no!
A really nice Scarab.
Oh man, massive damage from this Reaver here. Drone with the perfect counter to Lapota's strategy, scouting it exactly with the probe, seeing the double Evos, seeing the late lair, knowing Lapota was doing exactly the same thing, and knowing that this is a great way to deal with it.
Yeah, he needs to be careful though. His shuttle's actually taking hull damage now, trying to micro back, just doing what he can. It looks like Lings are being sent out to every other base on the map. The 3rd base from Drone is actually being taken further away. Maybe he is a little bit more worried about drops. And it looks like that Reaver is still just being as annoying as possible in this main base.
This Reaver has 21 kills, Kicks. 22 kills now. Some of them are drones, some are Lings, some are even Hydralisk. Although he's not paying attention right now, the Reaver could potentially die! Oh!
Yeah, a bit of mismicro there. He's actually trying to save his probe against the 3 Zerglings over in the bottom right of the map.
Kicks, he's making 2 more robotics facilities.
This is... You know what? I like this. I like the style. Like, this is what Roto was saying about in the Farm Robot Discord today. He actually said he only builds a single gateway in PvZ, and he just builds a hell of a lot of robos and just goes for it with mass mass Reaver. And I mean, if you think about it, if you got a shuttle per Reaver, or shuttle per 2 Reavers, and a billion Corsairs, what is going to take out the shuttles?
Well, it looks like in this case it's going to be the Hydralisks, although they're going to make a best effort here. It looks like one Corsair falls to the Spore Colony, some Overlords are dead. Look at Lopota's supply, 63 of 21 supply. Those Corsairs killed so many Overlords there.
Yeah, this is a strange sense of deja vu. The second Reaver does actually go down, and these Corsairs can get another Overlord. I'm not sure they realize that's there, blending in with its surroundings.
Finally, some Scourge are on the map to dissuade this, but these Corsairs, they have +1. There are 4 of them. He probably wants another Corsair or 2 to really make things work. He's getting another upgrade in the Cybernetics Core. Is that for air armor? That can only be air armor. It makes no sense to get Dragoon range right now, and you can't get +2 weapons until you have a Fleet Beacon. He must be getting the air armor upgrade to go with his Corsairs to also obviously help his shuttles. And it looks like, ooh, one shuttle actually at the bottom left does get taken down, but unloads probes and a Reaver. He wants to take this base.
Yeah, he's going to have to be careful though. There's Lings coming in high numbers with Hydralisks, and he's got no units on the ground. This is the one issue with going for mass robotics facilities. You do not have any gateway units to buffer for your Reavers. And it looks like he's going to try and rely on just pure micro here to deal with this.
Oh man, dropping the second Reaver. I think he should probably just pick it up and leave here. Yeah, he is just going to peace out, abandoning that Reaver. Gonna have to cancel this Nexus. Corsairs coming out, but there is a Sunken Colony that is protecting the main base right now. Gonna have to work that down before he can move out.
The Reaver actually goes down in the main to a Sunken Colony. I think he was trying to outrange it, but Reavers being Reavers, it shuffled right into range. But he is building 3 Reavers at a time right now.
And he's building a hidden base at the top right as well, Kix. There is one drone heading to the 12 o'clock to take another base. There are Zerglings patrolling the right side, but the top right base is the only one currently not being scouted by Lapota, and that's the one drone's going to take.
It is, and it makes sense as well. All he needs to do is realistically hold on to the base long enough to actually build some cannons. Then he can ferry some Reavers over there.
Oh, shuttles flying over Hydralisks! The shuttles! 2 shuttles, both full! Flew over Hydralisks and immediately died, Kicks. And there are Queens on the field. Look at the top left. 2 Queens spawning directly on top of a bunch of Corsairs. One of them dies immediately. I guess he's going to ensnare the Corsairs, just like Cadenzi tried to do in TL Open yesterday. And that's not a bad idea as well. That slows them down a ton.
It's kind of crazy. It's almost like we're watching Drone play against himself in this game. Queens mass upgrades. That's Drone's style. But so many Overlords are going down. These Corsairs are just doing so much.
Oh, they're going to caught by Hydras though. One more Corsair is going to fall. No second Corsair going to fall, but he does take a lot of damage. And that third base at the top right is actually going to finish. I think he might have transferred probes in that shuttle. I'm not really sure what's in there, but if he can cannon up that ramp and actually put a Reaver on top, it'll be almost impossible for the Zerg player to actually stop. But there's a random Overlord in the main base for some reason. It doesn't look like it dropped anything out though.
Yeah, no, it didn't drop anything. I think he was just trying to see exactly what units and what buildings were going on. We do have the Fleet Beacon, so that may have actually been +2 attack. No, it was 1 plate and 1 armor, so we do have 1/1 upgrades on the Protoss Air, which is kind of crazy at this point. But he just needs to keep his shuttles alive longer. If he can do that, eventually his army is just going to be so efficient against everything the Zerg can build.
Lapota just scouted the top right though. There are 3 cannons and a Reaver there, but look at the minimap. A lot of units heading over there. Shuttles high-fiving each other. One more shuttle coming up here. I don't know if this is probes or Reavers. For Drone's sake, it's got to be Reavers or he will lose the base. There's a Queen there. You can't Broodling Reavers though. You can only ensnare, and ensnare also doesn't affect Reavers. The ensnare will only help against the Corsairs when they come here. The probes trying to actually block here. The Reaver needs to do massive damage. It's actually maybe working. Now he's going after the Reaver. Can he get it? No, one more Scarab does get off. But I think this base is going to fall, Kicks.
Yeah, the base is likely going to fall. There's so many Hydros against only 3 cannons, not being able to build them, and eventually Drone is going to get completely starved out in this game. He does save the shuttle. That is something that will run away, but he transferred about 8 probes over there by shuttle, and that's really not going to help him. The Corsairs in the main base once again for Drone, just trying to kill as many Overlords as possible, but Drone is slowly finding himself being starved out. Every Scarab, of course, does cost minerals, so It does do a lot of damage, but it is going to be very dangerous when you're on solo bases.
Yeah, I think Drone's pretty dead here. I mean, he's down in supply, he can't get another base. Zerg's got his 12 o'clock base now, has completely shut down the Sarah Reaver. +2 weapons is spinning, but I mean, that's really not going to do anything for him. The third shuttle now coming out. Okay, so now we've got another 2 shuttles. Remember early on, he actually lost 2 shuttles full of units for free. So if you can actually drop these over here, maybe do a hold here. Also, I wonder, does he have D-Web from that fleet beacon? Surely he would have got it, right?
Yeah, that would be a good choice. He's actually opting to go straight into the main though. Wasting 3 Scarabs on a single Hydralisk too, that's not great. Wow, they kill everything so fast.
Queens, Ensnare on the Corsairs, alright, but there's no Hydras here, and Ensnare on the Reavers, but again, I don't think that actually affects their fire rate at all. It might affect their movement slightly. I thought it didn't, but the other day I was looking at Ensnared Reavers, and it looked like they were slower than normal Reavers. So I'm not sure about that anymore, but you can see there is the D-Web from a drone. Can he actually protect these Reavers? Another D-Web on the right side here. Mass D-Webs everywhere. The Hydra's trying to run through the D-Webs into the range of the Reavers, and they will get them all. And there go the Reavers. There go the shuttles. Drone not even microing them at all anymore. And surely that means Drone is dead now.
Yeah, he's down to 64 supply, and GG.
Wow. I did not expect this result. Liquid Drone going out in the very first round of Clash for Char. Well, I guess we picked a good match, Kicks. It was all planned.
And especially with Drone